Before Mark Hamill started to work on Episode 7 of the Star Wars saga, he already had another film in the bag that was supposedly leagues ahead and only a fraction of the budget. What were the circumstances leading to it not seeing a release? Before we get into that, let's take a moment to discuss the film itself. Firstly, what's it about? The long-awaited movie titled Virtually Heroes is finally coming back from the dead later this year, starring Mark Hamill himself. According to reports from Variety, the action comedy film was supposed to come out in 2013. Not only that, the film was an official selection for the 2013 Sundance Film Festival, further amplifying its hype. The film's plot is very similar to Free Guy from last year, featuring Ryan Reynolds, and mainly revolves around two characters, or NPCs, in a Call of Duty-inspired video game, constantly battling endless enemies. Soon both of these NPCs start to gain sentience and, all the while, start questioning their existence. What does Hamill have to do with it? Well, according to the same report by Variety, he plays a Yoda-like character, particularly a monk that helps our protagonists through their struggles. The NPC then teams up with Hamill and decides to do something about their existence being confined to a video game and try to escape to, quote, win the game and get the girl. From reports comparing both Virtually Heroes and Free Guy were pretty clear that both films have the same tone down to the snarky comedy. Virtually Heroes was executive produced by the legendary Hollywood B-movie producer and director Roger Corman, though the director kind of expected this since he isn't a stranger to his films not seeing the light of day. Fans might remember him for his famously unreleased Fantastic Four movie that he worked with Marvel to make. Screen Media portrayed the film as the perfect fusion between action and campy, tongue-in-cheek comedy that the viewers will find absolutely delightful even if it's their first time watching the works of Roger Corman or if they're hardcore fans of the director. Moreover, why is it finally coming out? The action comedy produced by Roger Corman nearly a decade ago was left in the shadows, but not anymore. Screen Media has acquired the North American distribution rights to Virtually Heroes. With a limited theatrical and digital release, the film comes out this December. The two companies owned by Chicken Soup for the Soul, Screen Media has partnered with its sibling companies, Popcorn Flicks, a Crackle Plus platform, to finally premiere the movie on streaming services in February of next year. Screen Media released a statement saying that they're thrilled to be able to bring Corman's lost project to the public, further stating that it's a perfect blend of action and humor and is sure to bring a sense of nostalgia and delight to a long-awaited audience. Virtual Heroes directed and produced both by G.J. Echterkamp, the former writer and director for Corman's film Death Race 2050. The movie also stars Robert Baker, Otis Graves from Supergirl, Brent Chase from The Animal Kingdom, and Katie Savoy from the film Sequestered. Reviews for Virtually Heroes from way back in 2013 from the Sundance Festival said that it's to be noted that it uses a lot of footage from Corman's older war movies. Director G.J. Echterkamp further says that Virtually Heroes was an extremely ambitious project in every way imaginable, and by no means a conventional or generic piece of media. Furthermore, he goes on to tell us about how glad he is that Screen Media finally decided to purchase the rights for the film, bringing what he considers a cult classic to all of his fans and to be put on platforms that weren't even available back in 2013 for a much larger audience. On behalf of Screen Media, Brendan Murray, Senior Manager for Digital Acquisitions, negotiated the deal that led to this decision with New Horizons Picture Corporation. Lastly, why did Virtually Heroes not make it to the big screen? Unfortunately, unlike the general perception that films are released directly by producers or directors, the truth is quite different. Each film has certain criteria to be met by companies willing to distribute it. A lot of the time, even incredible films that would shape up the industry are left to rot just because a distributor couldn't be arranged for them. In the case of Virtually Heroes, a similar instance took place where Roger Corman's film failed to gain the support of distributors, despite having an official award at the Sundance Film Festival and the viewer support. But those aren't the only things that such companies consider. First of all, the film itself has to be something that sets in with the current trends. That is, an idea or concept that can actually be marketed to people for an actual return for everyone who has invested in the making and production of the film. Though in the case of Corman's film, with an amazing amazing cast, it really should be no question as to why the film absolutely needed a release but still failed to come out. The only logical conclusion we can come up with is that the film did not have enough marketing and advertisement before Corman started searching for distributors, thus not having a large enough want for bigger companies to invest in it. Thankfully though, it's finally coming out again after gaining a lot of recognition with time and the recent release of Free Guy. Fans are left craving more of a fourth-wall-breaking video game film. Next, in other news, Mark Hamill joins forces with Jack in the Box. Before the actor made his name, Mark used to work at a local Jack in the Box way up in Hollywood, California, from where he was fired while trying to impersonate a clown as he was pulling his shift at the drive-thru window. With all that said, it seemed that Mark is soon returning to his old workplace in a recent marketing campaign. Not only that, the actor is on board for a few commercials along with a limited edition comic book starring Mark Hamill alongside Jack Box, the mascot for the fast food chain. The comic book is called The Return of Mark Hamill, a comic book, and is mainly for the promotion of the restaurant. It'll be available for free through the chain's online merch store. But of course, physical and digital versions of it are available as well, though the physical copy is out in limited quantities with free shipping. The Return of Mark Hamill is created by Eric Stiles and Chad Goodnow, illustrated by Luke Duo Art and Jamie Coe, and finally is lettered by Joshua Reed. In a recent appearance on The Late Late Show with James Corden, Hamill said that he worked right down the street from the studio he was at, always making shakes and working on the grill, with a constant aspiration to work at the drive-thru window, and on the one chance he got, it never crossed his mind that he wasn't supposed to portray their mascot. Moving on, Florida's list of banned books posted by Hamill. The United States currently has been debating on what learning material is actually appropriate for children in schools, giving parents a chance to take part in what their children are allowed to read in educational institutions. Mark shared a picture on Twitter suggesting a number of books that might face a larger ban in Florida. The tweet itself got almost 200,000 people to engage with it at the time it was posted, and further commented on the decision of conservative leaders in Florida to give parents more control over what books and material their kids learn from at school. The decision itself led to a huge wave of reviews in schools across the state, with the banning of hundreds of books from libraries, though his post indicated that Florida might have banned established classics like Lord of the Rings, To Kill a Mockingbird, and more. Is just not true, nor does it imply that the ban would affect all citizens, but only schools. The picture that Hamill tweeted out does in no way clearly state whether this banned list of books refers to a statewide ban or is just limited to school libraries. Finally, Hamill's involvement in The Sandman. The Sandman came out just a few days ago. It was later found out that the Star Wars legend lent his voice to Mervyn Pumpkinhead, a chain-smoking, straight-talking, and hilarious janitor who takes care of the dreaming for Morpheus, played by Tom Sturridge. With the series making its way to Netflix, Neil Gaiman and Alan Heinberg explained how Mark came to be involved in the show. Gaiman said that they got Mark on board the same way that they got almost everyone to sign up for it, which is that there are a lot of fans of the Sandman out there. He further goes on to say that Mark Hamill is a huge fan of the comics and that Neil remembers him talking with Alan about what Merv's voice should actually sound like. The writer doesn't exactly remember who suggested Hamill, but they never really thought they'd get him. That's a wrap for this video. What are you most excited about from Virtually Heroes? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.